Welcome again, dear viewers. I'm Nick, and today I'm going to be showcasing my first Lost Tribes games. So what's the idea? To pick up some of the less used sub-creature types. Today is going to be about Minotaur and try to build a deck using exclusively that tribe and try to assemble something interesting out of that. And before I show you the deck, I just want to say you that I'm having some issues lately with my editions, so that's the main reason of, why I'm not uploading more often. I met some nasty bugs there and there, but I'm not running short on ideas or enthusiasm, but not having the time to do all the edition with the bugs and so on. So let's take a look at what this deck does. So first, in this series of the Lost Tribes, we are going to be seeing the Stoneforge Masterwork. So some of the weakest of the tribes at least have this artifact going for them, granting +1/+1 for each other creature that shares a creature type. So a redeeming quality for any creature deck with a tribe team. Then Cartouche of Seals, I like the fact that gives our guys haste and it costs just 1 red and +1/+1 of course, and negates some blocking and also puts back some trials back to our hand. We are not running that many. So here this is a Minotaur, so that's the reason to include this. Pretty useful instant, supernatural stamina, giving +2/+0, and we recover our creature in case it dies. Then Brutal Rage Brawler, very strong 2-drop with 4/3, very huge stats, but this guy forces us to discard a card when it enters the battlefield. Speaking of having cards in the graveyard, Shadows of the Past to pick up some additional synergies, and maybe we are going to be enjoying if we can activate the Shadows of the Past. At any rate, we at the very least get the Scry out of the enchantment. Fling, another Minotaur up here that destroys one of our creatures and deals the power of the creature to target. Cemetery Recruitment, a very lovely card in the deck because we are going to be discarding lots of creatures and then we can draw a card if we recover a zombie. And do you know what? There are some zombie Minotaurs out there, and we are including 4 of these cards at Minotaur, one of the less expensive Minotaurs, and also the synergy is great. Ankrop Crusher at 3 mana with haste and also can be exerted to negate a blocking for 1 turn, so pretty aggressive. 3/2, not hitting as hard, but then comes Niheb that can buff our other Minotaurs. This guy has first strike, grants first strike to other Minotaurs, and if we have 1 or fewer cards in hand, our other Minotaurs gains +2/+0, and when Niheb deals damage, each player discards a card, including ourselves of course, but we can build around this idea. Bonjo's Monument, discount for our black creatures and a little bit of life drain. Hazard's Monument, discount for our red creatures, and we can discard to draw. And notice that some of our creatures are both red and black, so we get 2 mana discount. Trial of Seal, 2 copies that deals 3 damage to the target. Unburden, just 1 copy. This deck is not going to benefit so much by this card, but look at this, it's a Minotaur, we have to include it. Then Warfire Javelineer, a 4 mana 2/3, a bit expensive creature, but can be used as a removal tool since it deals X damage to our target creature, with being X the number of instants and sorceries in the graveyard. A good old Warrior Minotaur ally with Warrior that grants trample, but this is the only ally in the deck, so we could add more copies, but 2 red, a bit expensive for these stats, so I didn't went for more copies of Onto Champion. Then Merciless Javelineer, this we have full set, it's a 3 copies of this guy, she receives the full discount for both monuments, and we can activate an ability with 2 mana to discard a card and place negative counters on target creatures. These negative counters can be used as a form of removal and also preventing some blockings. Get up our orrery to recover, because if we are going to be discarding so many cards, probably we also want to draw a lot. And we have 2 copies of Irori and Minotaur Abomination, the last Minotaur available, pretty expensive, 6 mana including 2 black and 4/6. For the stats wise, is I think this is not worth. You should stay away of this card, but it's a zombie Minotaur that we are going to be using in our Minotaur deck. And finally, Insult to Injury, because of course there is a Minotaur there. And then a decent mana base, 23 lands with lots of duels, and notice 2 Hunger Battlements to grant haste to some of our guys, which since we try to be aggressive, it's going to help us sometimes. And Rogue's Passage, just in case we need to bypass. We already have lots of ways to stop creatures from blocking us. And finally, another interesting addition, Looming Spires to grant +1/+1 and first strike for at least 1 turn. So I hope you enjoy this series. Actually, I lost the audio of my final game today, so sorry about that, but what are you going to do? I think the game was interesting enough to see, so I'm going to add some music and let's see how it goes. Thank you for being here, and let's see what can we do today. Interesting options offered to us. We have I'm going to keep this because we have a turn 2 Blood Rage Brawler plus Cemetery Recruitment with a zombie on hand, and we just found another land, so this is great. So we are going to have a 4/3 by turn 2. Only thing is that we are running against white and something else, perhaps Gyre Sanitarium. Well, not entirely bad for our deck. So with this land, the opponent can use mana to force each player to draw and then discard. But our deck actually happens to be built around discarding some cards. So I don't think we are going to be damaged too much by this, but okay, opponent played nothing, so this could be a trick. No, the opponent just left, so let's try to see how our first game goes. Swing with the Blood Rage Brawler, 4 to the face, and there's no really rush to play the recruitment just now, so let's go Mountain and Bontus Monument. So Bontus Monument gives us a discount for our black creatures, and also we get to drain some life too. Let's see, I think that the opponent is missing some lands there. So what could be the opponent doing? Maybe a tokens deck of sorts. Could be Delirium, and this is a way to find the cards for Delirium. Spring. So probably he also runs blue in the deck. This is a Spring. Okay, Spring and Mind. So this side is pretty expensive and draws the opponent 2 cards. But he now has a lot of colors here, plains, mountain, so he also has red. So here I think we are just going to attack for 4 here. We have Fling to kill any creature at instant speed. We can, if I play the Javelinier, I'm going to be tapped down for my Fling, but I think we can afford to do this. So we have little for our next turn unless the opponent can remove these two creatures or present us with a blocker. No, it's retreat to Kazandu. Maybe he gains some life now. Yes, indeed. So it goes to 13. So we don't have lethal quite yet. So, well, we have trial, but not enough mana just now. So let's attack here first. Deal 8. So this is 2. We recover the guy and draw another card. I think we're going to be doing that. It's a land indeed, and we can play this for 1. I mean, with 1 mana discount. So I think unless the opponent can kill everything, I don't see a way to kill the opponent this turn with 3 mana only, but we have lots of damage available for us for next turn. So, but opponent has the retreat to Kazandu on play, so he could be gaining tons of life too. Dropping this would probably help the opponent too much if he runs retreat to Kazandu. Here comes explosive vegetations, providing 4 life for the opponent, but not nearly enough to save him. And look at this. What? He didn't had the basic. What are you doing, opponent? Okay, we can pay 2, discard something, put negative counters on a creature. We don't need to. Let's kill the opponent here and try to find a more amusing game next. Ah, no, it's a fog. Oh, fog, we cannot deal combat damage now, but that's not going to save the opponent from the fling. So we kill Flood Rage Brawler and game over. Let's try again. I think that our previous game we won because our opponent was trying to run a very greedy deck with greedy mulligans, some landfold effects without lands in the deck, at least not enough basic lands. So here, well, not exactly the dream hand, but I think we can keep this anyways. So let's go with Swamp first. By turn 3 we probably can attack with the Uncrop Crusher, and then we have the Merciless Javelineer, and hopefully we draw more action here. My keep here, I could have tried to grab something more aggressive, but I like having 4 lands to begin with. And we still need to see what is our opponent doing. And now he sees a swamp, which either has scared the opponent by believing that we run some fatal push or some other removal with black, or he just is not looking at the screen, or now sometimes you have a very difficult decision if you have many colors in your deck and you have a very complex mana base. Which one of the lands should you be playing first? Here the opponent goes Evolving Wilds, and we are going to be looking probably a blue or green. It's a green, it's a forest. So I imagine the opponent had the, if he was deciding what to do, probably is about Tireless Tracker up there. So no place from us, but we are representing a large variety of instants with red and black that could kill whatever the opponent decides to play, and have the Minotaur. I think for the time being I'm going to send the Anchor Crusher, and in case we need to discard something, maybe this other guy into the graveyard is not that a bad idea. We are not exerting here with no targets, of course, so we already are dealing 3 damage to the opponent, which happens to run black and green. So let's see how complex is the opponent's deck. Black and green is a very strong combination. Could be a number negative counters in the Baleful Amit next to the lifelink, and we have this guy, the best Minotaur in our deck, I guess, because it gives other Minotaurs a nice first strike. We also have found the Hazard's Monument here. So what to do? Of course, dropping this soon will allow me to play more cards faster. What to do? We don't want to have this one hanging around, so let's go Niheb, or whatever you call him, and think here, not exerting. If the opponent decides to try it, it's going to be bad for him, because my guy has first strike. Alrighty then. Continue. Now, if the opponent attacks, we could, in principle, we can block. Now forget about that. The opponent revealed the cartouche of Ambition, providing a negative counter on one of our guys, and some mana tapping issue. Cartouche of Strength is changed, and now they are going to fight, which is bad, of course. Now the opponent is gaining tons of life. Now I should have used the monument instead, but what are you going to do? Well, we can play this. A land is great, so with this let's drop this now. So the opponent's going to... He has the other cartouche, which is very strong for against us. So let's attack here. We're not going to block because the opponent plays the other cartouche on this guy, and then we cannot trade. So next turn we can play this guy and perhaps activate the ability. We can also use Hazard's Monument. So we might decide to discard something from our hand. And if the opponent finds the Scarab, we are in trouble. The Scarab gets tons of negative counters and synergies. And of course, any trial is going to be bad for us. Well, it's this hippo. Should I make a deck based on hippopotamus? This is the Lost Tribals deck. I don't think there's more hippos than this. So he removes the negative counter from the Baleful Lamit, which makes it even more strong. What can we do here, guys? It looks like a loss to me, but let's play this. Play this. We're going to throw away this Minotaur that we cannot afford at the moment. Another Niheb is great. And actually I'm going to play him right now. Do I ship one of my cards away? Yes, the Cinder Barons. This is not bad. This is going to help us quite a bit. And here I can swing, but I think we need some defenders here. Opponent's going to still put another enchantment on the Baleful Lamit. And we have first strike as long as this Niheb stays on the field. So if I find a land, maybe I should drop the Grapple already and activate the Javelinier. This is another one of those. Second Niheb that dies to the second cartouche of strength. Too strong for us. This is awful here, but anyways, I think I'm going to double block if the opponent decides to attempt to attack. Okay, he's going to put all the negative counters on this, I guess. No, he ate them. No attacks. Okay. No land. Alright, so instead of using this, we're going to be... I could... If I bring back this... Okay, let's get Niheb here. I can perhaps... I'm going to discard this guy. Not the greatest thing to do, but now I could swing, but not liking the idea. So this for two. Oh, another cartouche. Of course, this one we knew the opponent had a negative on this. So are you going to swing now? 7-6 with trample lifelink. Oh no, I have to block. I know that this looks like a trap, but I have to try. What else can I do? Okay, take a lot of damage. Opponent gains lots of life, but we got rid of 3 cartouches and 1 creature. So already Evolving Wilds. Let's look for whatever and hope that the opponent... Okay, the crocodile will kill us, I guess. Crocodile with haste. So ideally we can deplete our hand so we can begin to draw more cards and try to take this game, but the opponent has already gained so much life. Apatra. So Apatra, whenever she attacks, Okay, when she deals damage, she gets to put a negative counter, and when a negative counter is used, she gets the snakes. And now we have to face this Plague Belcher too, which seems strong. No, I don't think that our Neheb is going to be able to stop all these attacks. And yes, well, trial. The thing is, if I hit here, let's take down this Apatra. Seems to be the more dangerous of the opponent's cards, but still we are in a deep trouble. This guy has menace, and if we kill the guy, it is going to put negative counters on our guys. More negative counters on this hypo, takes them away from this. And we're dead. Ah! Stop! Please stop! Well, we tried. We did try, and we got not luck.